Hi, I'm Eric.
And I'm Dick. We're the Annuity Guys.
And we're looking at the pension systems today. And you know what? Pension systems all over the United States are in crisis.
They are, Eric. And one of the ones that comes to mind is California. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they've got like 3 different cities that went bankrupt. And then here we are. We live in the great state of Illinois.
Where everything is going
We're in the headlines all the time.
The pension system is in major crisis here, and they can't figure it out.
Right.
So, but one of the reasons we started looking at this is Senator Orrin Hatch, has proposed some legislation that would allow insurance companies to take a part in kind of helping to resolve some of this retirement pension crisis for public institutions.
Well, and what's happened, Eric, as you know, we've been discussing, is that all of these public pensions, they run off of projections, what they believe their pensions will do in percentages over time, and so they find themselves all the time becoming very underfunded because their projections are off.
Right. Geez, there's a surprise. Overestimating and not putting enough money in.
Well, and when you get back to the commercial insurance companies, that's their primary purpose. They manage risk. Yeah. They have mandates and statutes that require them to have the highest grade type investments, and they just have a proven track record.
Right. So they've got safety, they've got stability, they've got hundreds of years of basically historical performance in managing this type of basically a pension, which is just really an annuity that pays out over people's lives. So when we look at this, it's not surprising that the government would actually turn towards private insurance and insurance companies to help take on this responsibility.
Well, it makes sense, and so many times we find ourselves doing things, they say necessity is the mother of invention, and if we were still back in that time period of the 80s, like say from...
Everything's going up.
Yeah, 83 to 2000 or whatever, when it's like you can do no wrong. Right. You start to be lulled to sleep believing that you can just rely on the market and securities, and it's just going to do nothing but go up, and your projections are always going to be close enough, or you're going to do better than...
You can just buy a mutual fund, you'll get 12% a year, even if you pick the wrong one.
Exactly. And then we've had this rude awakening over the last 10, 12, 14 years that it's kind of like, doing good to be back to even, So...
Right, and people can't afford basically to put their pensions and their retirement at risk.
Yes.
So having a move this direction is really probably a smart thing. Yes. And it's really kind of putting us in a position where people are, not just people, but companies, private companies, the last few years have started to evolve into. You see the Fords, the GMs, starting to turn
They're turning to the commercial annuity companies, insurers to
offload their pension liability, because they understand that they build cars. They don't manage risk for a living. So it's putting their pensions really in the hands of the professionals, right? Which is an option that a lot of individuals have right now for IRAs, 401ks.
Right, and the 401ks, all the different, the states have a lot of 403bs and 457 plans. What they've really done is they've offloaded their pension responsibilities a lot of times to the individual. And since the big institutional pension groups can't really do a good job, how do they think the individual is going to do, there?
Well, everybody wants out of this market. Well, the only people that really want in are the insurance companies who understand that this is something we can do. We know how to manage this risk, and we're not going to overpay for it. We're not going to overpromise.
They're not going to overproject.
They're going to be safe, stable, secure.
Right. And so, again, with that type of a track record, there's a point where you do use the market to grow your money. You various methods and means to accumulate and get the growth on your money. But then there comes the point where you have to rely on cash flow. You have to rely on income. You don't know how long you're going to live.
Right. Well, and most people, when you give them the option, would you rather have a pension or not? Just have that lump sum of cash. Most people I know opt for that pension because they like those guarantees. And that's really what this is setting people up for. It's setting you up for those guarantees for life without having to worry. I'm not saying you don't need liquidity, and it's the right thing for all your money.
And like you're saying is when you're presented with that option from the company, do you take the lump sum or do you take the pension? Most people will take the pension, or they'll take the lump sum and then go buy an annuity, get a pension. But yet, when you've actually, and we see a little bit of a difference here, when someone's actually saved their own money, not just given a lump sum, by the company for working there for so many years, but actually saved their money, their hard-earned money, by taking it out of their paycheck, and they've amassed, several $100,000, maybe even over $1 million. They don't want to give that up so fast.
Well, and that's where that hybrid annuity has really become so popular in the sense, let me still have majority control of my assets, my lump sum, but give me an income for life.
Yeah, so if I needed that money, I could get back to it. It's still my money if I haven't spent it. And with the hybrid, you have, not necessarily, potential for real high returns, but you do have a potential for some reasonable growth, which can offset the reduction in the principal, or the premium amount that you put in.
And if anything would happen to you, you'd pass untimely early, or anything, you and your spouse, something happened, the option for those assets to go on to your heirs is still there as well. So you haven't given up that, like a pension, typically, when you're gone, the money's gone.
Yes. So really, when it comes down to setting up a retirement-style pension, annuities have the proven track record.